Welcome back to Studio F, where on Fast Times Willy B, we'll be stepping back to 1986 and reviewing Stand By Me. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Russell.
Welcome back to Fast Times Willy B. I'm Willy B. I've got Keaton back with me. And Keaton, you're on a hot streak here, man. You're putting up numbers in 2025 here on Fast Times. As back once again for Stand By Me as we step back to 1986. How you doing today, man?
Pretty good. Tired.
Yeah.
Had a long shift. But
yeah. Hey.
Hey.
It's always nice to finish a shift and get to talk about a great movie. Though,
Absolutely.
Right? So
I'm looking forward to this all day.
Yeah. As I said, we're stepping back to 1986. We've got Stand By Me. Director-wise, we got Rob Reiner, which, I mean, Rob Reiner's done a lot of great movies.
Yeah.
Misery, When Harry Met Sally. Is Rob Reiner The Princess Bride? One that has eluded me, but I've heard great things about.
Yeah.
He's also acted in some great movies, too. So just a guy, when you're talking about movies, is well known.
Absolutely.
Cast-wise, we've got some big names, too. Obviously, our main four being Will Wheaton, River Phoenix, Corey Feldman, and Jerry O'Connell. We've also got Kiefer Sutherland. We've got Richard Dreyfuss, who narrates the whole movie and then gets, his moment in the sun, you could say, in the ending. And then you also got John Cusack and little interjections as the older brother of LaChance. But we'll start with the good, and this is where I'm sticking.
I was going to say, honestly, this is going to be 95% of the video.
I was going to say, for me, it's 100%.
Yeah.
This was a movie that I did get to at a pretty young age.
Same here. So, honestly, like this... honestly, Stand By Me is just one of my top favorite movies.
Yeah.
And like you, I saw it at probably too young of an age.
I would agree. Yeah, probably too young. Yeah.
But I don't know. We grew up fine.
Yeah. We're cool now.
Yeah.
We love great movies because of it.
Absolutely.
You mentioned before we talking. Obviously, everybody knows this is a Stephen King adaptation from his book The Body.
Mm-hmm.
And Stephen King even says this is probably his favorite.
I was gonna say, I think I read something that he mentioned that it's his favorite adaptation.
Yeah. He has high praise for this movie.
Yeah.
Which we know there's a lot of movies he doesn't, and a lot of movies he does, but this is one that he loves, and it's no wonder why.
Absolutely.
It's just one of those movies that you could really throw on at any time. It has a heavy subject matter for sure.
It really does, yeah.
But it also just has a vibe to it that it's just a chill movie to watch because if you're in it to watch a story, it's a great story. It's heavy. The character arcs are all great. Mm-hmm. What these kids are put through is insane. But if you watch it in the sense that I just want a vibe movie, it's so well shot, and it's just almost a buddy movie of these four friends.
It really is. It's entertaining watching these four friends just bonding with each other.
Such a sad weekend, but it's one of those weekends you never forget, which you get, him texting, I've never had friends like I did when I was 12.
Yeah.
It's just that type of movie. It's
Absolutely.
It's nostalgic. It's all get out.
I feel like, and it's it's such a vague memory, but I feel like we watched this, when I was in Cub Scouts or something.
Okay.
Which again, that sounds silly because it's why would the Cub Scouts show us an R-rated movie? But I don't know, I feel like that's where I first watched this movie. But again, like I said, I was, the first time I watched this, I was probably 5 years old.
Yeah.
And just, I've watched this movie probably at least 20 times in my life.
Yeah.
It's just one of my comfort movies.
Yeah.
Really.
I watched a video on this recently too, that was in depth of this movie, and it was really cool. I say cool because it's knowledge. Knowledge is cool, but it was actually sad, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the fun facts about this movie, and again, fun's not a good word for it, but how River Phoenix was so relatable to his character that it's moments it didn't even feel like acting, and it kind of crushed the other kids on set.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of stuff like that where it's just so sad, and you can see these are some of the best child performances you get ever.
Oh, absolutely.
Will Wheaton as Gordie. Gordie's this kid who lost his brother. You can tell is a little reserved except for when he's around his best friend Chris. That's when he tends to open up, and you can tell he has not the greatest relationship with his dad. Had a great relationship with his brother and lost him. And you have Chris, who the last name Chambers is just around town scum.
He comes from a bad family.
But he's
you
a
know,
good
like
kid.
drunkards.
Yeah.
And he's very misunderstood by the town of what is it? Castle Rock, I think.
Is it Castle Rock?
Yeah.
I want to say Castle Rock, but I know that's also a TV show, and that's what's throwing me off.
Yeah. I know that sounds bad because I literally just
I just watched it.
Said, "Oh, this is my favorite movie," you know.
Yeah.
But
I'm pretty sure it's Castle Rock.
I think it's Castle Rock. Yeah, just very much misunderstood by the small town they live in. I know it's set in Oregon.
Yeah.
The setting.
Portland is the radio station.
Yes.
And it just looks like Oregon too.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All the
beautiful,
pines.
beautiful scenery.
But then you got Corey Feldman, who plays I can never remember.
Teddy Duchamp.
Teddy, that's it.
Yep.
And he's got a dad who's in the loony bin.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he has his kind of his crash out after they escape the junkyard and the junkyard
burnt his ear on the stove.
Yeah. And then you got Vern. And Vern's
he's funny.
Vern's, as he calls himself, the fat friend. He's
Yeah.
like, way to make fun of the fat kid.
Exactly, yeah.
But Vern is just there for the ride. He comes up with the plan, which is cool to think about.
Yeah, I mean the whole story, the whole movie. He was the one that said, "You guys want to see a dead body?" And they all just froze and they knew exactly what he was talking about.
But he's always the butt of the joke, and he comes along with some one-liners. Vern, I mean, one of my favorite quotes in the movie is, "If I could have one food for the rest of my life, that's easy. Pez, cherry-flavored Pez."
Yeah.
And that's actually why they're behind all of this stuff in the corner.
Yeah, that's right. I totally forgot.
There's a little cherry-flavored Pez painted
totally
on the
forgot
wall.
about that.
And that's for Stand By Me. That scene always stuck out to me.
I like the part where they're on the fire, and he goes, "I love a good smoke," or he goes, "I love a smoke after a good meal," and then Corey Feldman's like, "Yeah, I cherish these moments."
Yeah.
And they'll just start laughing. He's like, "What?
Yeah. See,
so cool.
that around the fire scene's probably
that's like my favorite scene.
Because I love when it's going between them. They're like, "What is Goofy? Like Mickey's a mouse."
They're all talking about. They're having conversations we all had when we were kids.
Yeah,
so
it's a very relatable scene. So it's probably my favorite scene in the movie, and there's scenes that compete with it. I mean, like
absolutely,
the train scene, obviously.
He tries to dodge the train.
That, and I mean when they're running on the track.
Oh yes.
That scene, and then the other one, the scene that actually probably scared me the most as a kid, the leech scene.
Oh, the leech scene.
Yeah, the leech scene always got me.
Really?
When he pulls it out of his underwear and he has the blood on his finger and he just faints.
Like, oh,
when I was a kid, I was like, I'm not swimming, because of leeches.
It's scary. Yeah. No, the scene that always scared me, and it kind of makes sense. The scene that scared me when I was real little was Ray Brower when they find the dead body.
Yeah.
Dude, like, I mean, I've never really seen just a dead body.
Yeah.
Other than like from a funeral or something like that.
Yeah.
But like they made it look pretty realistic.
No, they did.
And
being
it always
kid also
freaked me out. Yeah. It just that scene always freaked me out when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But no, trying to remember. But yeah,
There's
the train
scenes.
So many good scenes in this movie.
I mean, when they're in the junkyard and they're flipping coins for who has to go to the store is just a fun one. Even when before the movie really even gets kicked off and they're sitting in the treehouse and Vern comes up and they're like, "That's not the knock," and Vern's like, "Come on, let me in, guys!" Like
Vern.
Yeah. Like it's just like you said and like I said already, it's one of those feel good movies that there's just so many scenes that make you feel nostalgic. Even though we didn't live in the 50s, it just makes you feel like a kid again.
Right. Yeah, I mean honestly, like watching this movie, especially, I mean, like I said, I've seen this movie so many times. It kind of makes me feel bad because like I had a lot of friends growing up and we did some fun stuff, but like we never really went on adventures like they did.
That's fair.
In this movie. I get it though. It was a whole different time period back in the 50s, I mean, they didn't have video games and all these movies that we're able to watch today.
Yeah.
I mean, the fun they had was going out in the woods and
throwing rocks into a can, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
you get a lot of fun like one-liners that I remember saying as a kid and thinking I was cool. Like, I don't shut up, I throw up, or
and when I look at you, I throw up.
Yeah, I don't shut up, I grow up. When I look at you, I throw up.
Yeah.
And
then your mother comes around and licks it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when he goes like that to Vern, he's like, "Two for flinching." Like,
yeah.
Just like watching this movie, I'm like, man, they even did it back then. Like, it's so cool, Because
Absolutely.
those were things you did in elementary school. So dumb.
It's just
but
cool how like
school,
things,
you're like, I got you. Like,
things carry on.
Yeah.
Like through time. Like, I mean, I know this movie was made in the 80s, but I mean, just like even from the 80s.
Yeah.
Just how long that stuff. Travels.
Like I said already, the cast was fantastic. I don't think any of the kids could have been changed.
Corey
Kiefer Sutherland just is such a good bully.
Dude, he was like, and that's another thing. Like, he
Lost
scared
Boys
me
came
when I was a kid.
Yeah, Lost Boys came out a year after this,
And I totally didn't realize. And again, I'm gonna get some backlash for this. I still haven't seen Lost Boys. I know. It's on my list.
That one hurts.
I know. It's on my list though, and I think it's so cool that literally a year after this, both Corey Feldman and Kiefer Sutherland were both in the Lost Boys. I was like, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah. Corey Feldman's a kid that put up numbers as a child at Hollywood. I mean, he's the Goonies the year before this. The year before that, he was in Gremlins.
He was,
and in Friday the 13th 4. He was also in the final chapter.
Oh yeah, well,
yeah.
I gotta watch some of the later Friday the 13th.
Yeah, but I mean, from 84 to 88, he was on quite the tear.
Well, funny thing is, Corey Feldman, he's my favorite of the four boys.
Okay.
In Stand By Me.
Yeah.
He's also my favorite in the Goonies.
Okay.
Because he just has such a he's such a smart ass.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. Yeah. I love it.
No, I love Corey Feldman. Especially, Corey Feldman then. Well, I'm not getting to Corey Feldman today.
Yeah.
Hey,
I don't really know too much about him today.
The Comeback King is a great song in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I don't care what people say.
Right.
Corey. But no, I mean the cast is fantastic, and even the minor supporting role. I mean, John Cusack was a cool little, looking at it now. Back then, he wasn't as big as he is now, but that was a cool little, Easter egg for somebody who watched it 20 years after it came out.
Right.
Being the brother, and then Richard Dreyfuss being the older version of Gordie and the narrator of the movie. Obviously, as a Jaws fan, American Graffiti, The Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Richard Dreyfuss is a big name.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, even the ending with him typing I just love the ending to this movie.
I'm not gonna lie, the ending, I've never actually cried at the ending, but I get that my tear ducts are
the build up,
yeah. I almost cry every time I get to the ending. It's a bittersweet ending.
Yeah, because you got Chris who obviously who figured his stuff out, became a lawyer.
He did.
And then he unfortunately tried to break up a fight, and it led to his demise. And you get that I'll never have the friends.
Right.
I've never had the friends like I did when I was 12 line. And
then I think what was it, Teddy Duchamp? I think he went to prison, and he kind of got these in and out jobs.
Yeah.
He just he didn't have those friends he had when he was 12 years old to kind of hold him accountable anymore. So
you can see Gordie made it though.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, living in a mansion.
Yeah.
I don't know. I forget what happened to Vern. I feel bad. I kind of forgot what Vern ended up doing. Yeah, doing Vern things.
He's eating cherry flavored Pez.
Yeah, that's right.
Another good scene is the storytelling scene around the campfire when he tells the pie story.
Yes, that's such a fun and gross.
Yes, it is. I love how everyone in the scene throws up blueberry pie. Even
though, it's not they all had blueberry pie before this pie eat.
Yeah.
It's so gross.
But it's it fits.
It does. It does. I love it.
Yeah.
What is it? Oh, so fun fact about the pie eat scene. So you know how I mentioned Ray Brower, the body that they're trying to search for in this movie. Fun fact, and I didn't learn about this until a couple months ago. The actor who plays Ray Brower is in that scene as one of the background characters. The two twins who go hey lard ass, chow down, fat load. He's the guy between them. So next time you go and see the movie, or if you want to show the clip, you can try and find it. He's in between those guys. Okay. I thought that was a pretty cool fun fact.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. I didn't know that either. Yeah, that's a good scene too. And then probably I kind of touched on it earlier. My favorite part of this movie is probably just the cinematography. It is such a well shot movie. Once again, Rob Reiner is such a great director. Obviously, this is very well written, and it's based off of Stephen King, who is a very good writer.
Oh, absolutely.
But the cinematography and the shots that he grabs in this movie. There's one scene alone where he gets 3 different shots of Will Wheaton sitting on the train tracks, writing in a journal.
Yeah.
And all 3 shots, I'm just man.
They're great.
All 3 of them were fantastic. And, I mean, just, you get the landscape shots of Oregon. You get the train scene where the train's coming at you and you see them running at you.
Yes.
You get the one where it's the sunset and they're walking really small in the bottom left corner. There's just so many good shots in this
Honestly,
movie.
I really...
That's what I mean by this movie is easy to watch.
Yeah.
Even if you're not diving into the story, just throwing this on in the background, it's such a vibe because it looks so good.
That's what I mean. And honestly, it kind of makes me want to visit Oregon because again, the countryside just looks beautiful in this movie.
And it was cool too because I watched it this time with my reactive lights. this past watch.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and
that's
dude, this
cool.
movie is colorful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, the lights were constantly changing, and I'm like, man, it goes green when you're by the trees, and then blue because the sky, and then the train scene, it's like the black and like the beige of the sand, and like
that's awesome.
Yeah, there was a lot of color in this movie, and there was like orange shots because of the sunset.
Yeah.
I was like, man, there is every color you could imagine is shooting onto my wall right now watching this movie.
Right,
and
right.
It's a very well directed movie, and it's a very well shot movie, and it's one of those movies on my list. Like, if I were to make a list of like best cinematography, it's probably on the short list.
Yeah.
And I can't spitball you my whole list right now because I guess I've never really thought of that.
Oh yeah.
But I can safely say Stand By Me would be on that short list of like some of the best cinematography I've ever watched.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's same here. I can't really give you my top list, otherwise we'd be here for another 30 minutes. Yeah. But I mean, Stand By Me, just in general as a movie, is up there probably in my top 10 favorite movies of all time.
Probably the same.
Yeah. And I know
super high replay value.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, seriously, it's one of those movies I could rewatch right after I finish it. Yeah. I could just be like,
I've done that numerous times.
Oh, absolutely. I know we're kind of jumping around story-wise, but no, we were talking about the campfire scene earlier, and like honestly, with that one is probably my favorite scene, because again, they're really all bonding.
Yeah.
And
they're friends. You can tell that's like the scene where you really tell they're friends.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
They're just brothers.
Yeah. But not only, the part where they're talking about, like, Goofy's a dog, he's got to be, and just all those fun little moments. No, after that, I like the scene between Gordie and Chris.
Yeah.
When they're, all the other guys, they're asleep.
And Chris is kind of explaining how he's misunderstood, and the teacher swindled
screwed him over. Yeah.
That's a sad scene.
That
really one's
is
a tearjerker. I don't know if I've ever released, but it's another one where the buildup is there. Like, you're like on the verge of tears. If they don't come out, they're right there.
Well, and like throughout this whole movie, you see Gordie and Chris. All four of these boys are super close friends, but
they're
Gordie
the two
and
main
Chris
characters. Yeah.
I mean,
he even says in the introductions, "That's Chris, my best friend."
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I mean, even like when they're walking up the trail, I think earlier in the movie, Chris is, telling Gordie, he needs to become a writer. And Gordie's like, no, that, I don't want to be a pussy or whatever, or like, that's pussy shit.
Yeah.
And he's like, don't you say that, you're sounding like your dad. And again, like, I just love seeing those two bond together.
Yeah, I like this when the line where he goes, now you're acting like my dad. And he's like, I wish I was, so I could tell you.
Yes.
Like, so I could encourage your writing, unlike his dad does.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, that their relationship is definitely the best in the movie. They're the two main characters. And then you find out how close they got, and that this was really an emotional movie for River Phoenix too. And then obviously, watching this movie after a decade after River Phoenix passed too, given when we were born, like it hurts a little more, I guess.
Absolutely,
it adds to the emotion. We kind of touched on the comedy too, like you said, we're bouncing around, but going back to Vern, when they're walking over the train tracks and the comb falls out of his pocket. It's like
I dropped the cone.
It's like it's okay, Vern.
Yeah.
Or forget it, Vern.
He's like, forget it, Vern. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And then when they're running from the train tracks or from the train, and Vern's like, ah! And the train, dude. Like again, like you said, the cinematography is so good. The shot of them running in this big ass train, right behind, I mean, them. Literally, like right up their ass. They're like, ah!
And they do the jump to the side.
Yeah.
Man. Oh,
dude.
So well shot.
I would, I'd unfortunately be Vern.
In
that moment.
Yeah.
I'd be like, ah!
Well, I would actually probably be Chris or Teddy in this situation because I wouldn't get stuck behind Vern.
Oh my god. Yeah.
I would already be off the tracks.
Well, honestly, if it wasn't for Gordie being behind, Vern would have been dead.
Oh yeah, Vern's done.
He literally, like, he was clinging onto the tracks. The train was gonna run him over.
Yeah, for sure. Another really good part of this movie is the soundtrack.
Dude, okay, so I was
just get like the 50 radios hits, man.
And I think I've said this. I said this in a previous review. I love 50s music.
Oh yeah.
And so I mean, I recently bought the soundtrack on vinyl.
Did you?
Yeah.
Hell
yeah. Yeah. And dude, I mean, so many good tracks.
I mean, obviously you get "Stand By Me" by Benny King, but you got you get Buddy Holly in this one. Yeah. You get the "Lollipop" by the Chordettes. Yeah. You get I can't.
Rockin' Robin.
Yeah, Rockin' Robin.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, there's.
I mean, there's just so many more.
It's literally
like, I can't...
listening to the radio 1959 and all the hits are playing. That's what it is.
Exactly.
And
that's honestly, like, I mean, there are so many different things that got me into 50s music, but this movie is what really kickstarted my love for 50s music.
And it fits so well, too, like the everyday things I get. Yeah, and it's like,
going faster than a roller coaster.
We're doing a cover of Buddy Holly now.
Hell yeah.
But, like, that scene fits in, and then when it's Lollipop by the Chordettes, it's like a transitional, and it's them singing Lollipop on the tracks, and that's when you get the Chris and Gordie conversation about the dad and writing and all of that. Like such a good
transitions so well.
But the music they use as a transitional piece a lot, and I like that.
Yeah.
And man, it was a really good soundtrack. And then obviously Stand By Me. The little bit of score we get too is like a kind of a slowed down instrumental version of Stand By Me. Which I really enjoy when that pops up.
I did notice that, especially recently when I was watching it. I forget what scene I heard it in, but I was like, oh my gosh, you can actually hear it's a slowed orchestral version.
Yeah, of Stand By Me.
Of Stand By Me, yeah. Which again, even like the song Stand By Me by Benny King is just, again, one of my favorite songs. Like anytime that song comes on my playlist, it puts me in a happy mood.
This movie wasn't originally called Stand By Me.
I mean, I assume it was probably called The Body.
I don't know if it was called The Body either.
Oh, really?
But there was a day on set where River Phoenix was singing Stand By Me.
Really?
You know how he was a musician, too.
Yeah,
there was a day on set, and Rob Reiner walked past and said, I love that song. And they changed the name of the movie to Stand By Me. They got the rights to it. And,
exactly. And it fits so well with the story.
I mean, it does.
Like, it's the four boys standing by each other and, holding each other accountable.
Yeah. So that's a little fun fact.
That's cool. I actually didn't know that.
There's a lot of cool fun. We could make a whole episode out of just talking about fun facts with Stand By Me.
I remember one of them, Turbo was telling me, I think it was Will Wheaton. I think it was the part of the end of the movie when they find Ray Brower and he starts crying because he starts thinking about his brother who had passed away. And I guess when they were shooting that scene, I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure it was this. Will Wheaton just could not cry. He could not cry. And the director, I guess, basically pulled him aside and basically was just like, listen, Will, everyone here is tired as shit. We've been here all day, all because you can't cry. And basically made him feel like and that got him to cry for the scene. I'm pretty sure that it was for that. But Turbo told me about that, and I was like, dude, seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
some of the extremes they went through back then, man. I mean, we've talked about it
once
Shining,
once they shot it, I think the director went up to him and was like, I'm so sorry. We had to put you through
Rob
that.
Reiner just seems like a good dude.
Yeah.
If you watch
he probably felt terrible.
Oh, I'm sure. But I get it.
Yeah.
Sometimes
it's like we need that realism.
Yeah. But no, there's just nothing but good things to say about this movie.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies.
Absolutely. I also totally before I forget too, I remember my freshman year of college, I did again, because I'm just so passionate about this movie, I did an essay on this movie. And I forget what the assignment was for, but it was it was from my writing class, my freshman year of high school, and that was one of the very few essays that I actually somewhat enjoyed writing. Because again, I was like, oh, dude, I love Stand By Me.
Yeah, it's always nice when you get to pick the topic, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, Stand By Me it's in my opinion, it's an icon. I don't know if it gets enough recognition when it comes to pop culture, in my opinion, but 86, a very loaded year. I mean, the poll was really between this, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and then I had to fly in there. All three of those movies I adore. So
I was surprised. I think
Ferris Bueller's Day Off and Stand By Me were fighting.
It was right under Stand By Me, and I was thinking, okay, Stand By Me might have a chance, but I was honestly expecting Ferris Bueller to win.
I was
too. Because it's just such. I mean, both are iconic movies, but more people know Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
I was cool with either. Two movies I love. And
either one,
honestly, this entire pool was of options I love, so I was in the boat, whatever ones I'm gonna have a good time.
Absolutely.
But Stand By Me, I was very happy at one because it's one of those movies I feel like isn't talked about enough, and so when it won the pool, I was like, sweet,
Absolutely. It's funny too. When I was younger, I always affiliated Stand By Me with The Sandlot.
Okay.
They just felt like similar
With the
movies to me.
narrator.
Yeah, like the narrator,
the Brotherhood. Yeah.
I think what is it? The Sandlot is set in like it's set in the 60s.
Yeah.
I mean Stand by Me is the late 50s.
Similar music.
Similar music. I mean
a lot of dirt with blue sky.
Yeah, exactly.
It does have a lot of similar.
It always reminded me of each other. Except I always just considered Stand by Me the like mature one of the two. I guess
That's fair.
Yeah,
both great summer. I took both those movies in my summer movie draft last summer. They're both just
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this movie's also just so nostalgic for me because I remember having it on tape as a kid, and I don't have it on tape right now, despite my big tape collection. This is one I don't have, and I want. But I remember having it on tape as a kid and watching it with my sister a bunch, and like we would just put it in, and I don't know how we were allowed to just put in a rated R movie like that, but we watched this movie quite a bit while we colored or did whatever we did.
I think I was
like
gonna
Deep
say,
Blue Sea was another one we did a lot.
Yeah,
which is
I think my parents
movie.
made an exception with this one. They were like, "It's a good movie."
Like we watched Jurassic Park, Jaws, Deep Blue Sea, and Stand by Me like in a loop.
Yeah,
and I look back, and I'm like, God, I had cool parents.
Yeah,
those four movies. I mean, Deep Blue Sea is probably the outlier. The other three are definitely more iconic. But,
right.
Yeah, man, I was obsessed with sharks and dinosaurs, so that's why those three were in the mix. And then
Oh,
Stand By Me was just
absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I mean,
you said,
what
another
little
reason-
kid isn't obsessed with sharks and dinosaurs, though?
I still am.
Yeah.
I never grew out of it. They're still my favorite animals, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, sharks and dinos, man.
Hell yeah.
That's sick. But I don't have anything in the mail or the bad.
Honestly, I don't really think I do either.
Okay, so
I mean,
do we want to go to final thoughts and rating?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
What do you
let's do it.
got?
Honestly, man, this is a 10 out of 10 movie.
Hell yeah.
I'm not even gonna hold back.
Yeah, it is. It is. I'm
It's
gonna
just
100% agree with you. 10 out of 10. It's been a 10 out of 10 for me for 20 years now.
exactly. Yeah.
Like it's one
Ever
of those
since
movies,
the first time I watched it.
Yeah, it's one of those movies. Like I said, it has super high replay value. I could watch it right after just finishing it.
Mm-hmm.
Let the credits roll and just click rewatch.
Yeah.
It's. I need to get it on my tape collection.
Absolutely.
That's for sure. It's just one I just haven't seen. I'm a big finding tapes in the wild guy.
Yeah, it's
I don't
more
like-
fun. Yeah,
eBay is a cool, like, you can get anything you want in 5
Yeah.
minutes. Same with Amazon, but like I like tapes specifically. I like finding them in the wild, is what I say.
yeah.
Even though it's not the jungle, but it's
right.
my term for it. I hunt.
I'm
them.
on the front lines trying to get Stand By Me on VHS.
Yeah. You got a tape hunt, so
Yeah. I'm I and it could be an anxiety thing maybe, but like I'm always afraid that like if I wait when it comes to collecting old, I collect old video games.
yeah.
And just old things in general, but like I always get afraid if I wait too long, I'm going to lose my chance, and by the time I do I end up finding it, it's going to be like a $300
That's fair.
item.
That's fair.
But that's just me.
Yeah. The fun part of it though is you're always gonna find something that's like a diamond for the wrong price too. Like
Yeah.
I just found a board game that's definitely worth more than I paid for it by like 3 times.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
I immediately bought it. I'm like, and it's from the 80s. It's original, complete in box. And
Yeah.
like, see, sometimes you luck out too. Like I could have pulled the trigger on eBay for 3 times that.
Yeah.
I waited and I found it in the wild.
Exactly.
For a hell of a deal, 67% off. you know?
Absolutely.
So, you pick your battles, but I get what you're saying for sure.
Yeah.
But I do need to get Stand By Me. I got to keep my eyes super peeled for it.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, man.
You'll be the first one I call whenever I see it come into the exchange.
Thank you. I appreciate it. That'll do it for Stand By Me. Keaton, thanks for coming on once again.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Thank you all for watching. If you like what you're watching, check out some other videos. Hit the subscribe button or follow the social links down below. All of it is appreciated. Go watch Stand By Me just cuz, and we'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.